welcome to Math Matra. Today in this video we will talk about the problem to solve for x, that is 5 to the power of x plus 1 minus 10 times 5 to the power of x minus 1 is equal to 15 without using calculator. Now you may have come across these kind of problems in your algebra class or exams. So for those who wants to try, please pause the video and give it a try, and then continue the video to learn the step-by-step process and verify your answer. And for those who want to continue understanding the step-by-step process on how to go about solving this problem, without further ado, let's get started. So in order to solve for x, for the equation 5 to the power of x plus 1 minus 10 times 5 to the power of x minus 1 is equal to 15, let's first understand the formula that if we are given a to the power of b plus n, then we can rewrite that as a to the power of b times a to the power of n. And also there is another equation we can use in this particular scenario is if we are given a to the power of b minus n, then we can reformulate that and rewrite it as a to the power of b divided by a to the power of n. So if the positive sign in the exponent, you can multiply a to the power of b times a to the power of n, and if there is a negative sign in the exponent, you can use a division rule. So in this example we have both positive as well as the negative sign. So let's go and apply these formula to the appropriate location. So let's go and rewrite this as 5 to the power of x times 5 to the power of 1, which basically is 5, but let's rewrite it minus 10 times 5 to the power of x divided by 5 to the power of 1, because there is a negative sign, right, is equal to 15. We carry the 15 down, right? Now as you can see, there is a 10 in the second term, there is a 10 in the numerator and 5 raised to 1, which is 5 in the denominator. So we can cancel 5 and the 10 out, and we can write 2 because 5 to the 10, right? So then the equation then become 5 to the power of x times 5 minus 2 times 5 to the power of x is equal to 15. So now if you look at the first and the second term, 5 to the power of x, we can common out, and then in bracket we can put 5 minus 2, which is 3, right? So we can rewrite 3 times 5 to the power of x is equal to 15. 3 times 5 to the power of x is equal to 15. We can divide then by 3 on both sides of the equation, right? So 3 times 5 to the power of x divided by 3 is equal to 15 divided by 3. So 3 and 3 cancels out in the left side of the equation, and the right side of the equation 3 5s are 15. So we'll have 5 on the right side. On the left side we'll have 5 to the power of x is equal to 5. And we all know x is equal to 1 because 5 to the power of 1 is 5. Hence the x has no other value that is possible in this particular case but 1, right? Easy, isn't it? So let's go and check, put this value of x is equal to 1 back in the formula and confirm and verify whether or not if that x is equal to 1 really holds, right? Because we found the answer. It's always good to get it checked. If you are in the exam hall, if you have a little bit more time, it's always best to get your answer checked. And the best way to do it, you already found the answer, right? You put it back in the equation and see if it holds on the both sides of the equation, gives the same number, right? So let's check. So let's put x is equal to 1 in the main equation that we had. So 5 to the power of x plus 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So 5 square minus 10 times 5 to the power of x minus 1. X is 1, so 1 minus 1 is 0 is equal to 15. So 5 square is 25 minus 10 times 5 to the power of 0. Now 5 to the power of 0 or any number to the power of 0 is basically 1. So, well, let me clarify. Any number to the power of 0 is 1 except infinity to the power of 0 is indeterminate as well as 0 to the power of 0 is also indeterminate. But other than those two numbers, 0 and infinity, any other number raised to the power of 0 is basically 1. So in this case, 5 to the power of 0 is 1. So you'll have 5 square minus 10 times 5 to the power of 0, which is 1. So 10 times 1 is 10. So 25 minus 10, which is 15, which is exactly what you have on the right side. It basically checks out, right? So that means x is equal to 1 is the correct answer. Easy, isn't it? So I hope you like that step-by-step process. Now I'm going to quickly go through. There is another quick method that we can go about and prove how we can go about approaching this solution one other way. The beautiful thing about the math, there is multiple ways of solving the same kind of problem, right? So I'm just going to go through one more way, which in my opinion is also a pretty quick way, just like the first method. So we'll go back to the same question. 5 to the power of x plus 1 minus 10 times 5 to the power of x minus 1 is equal to 15. Now let's divide by 5 to the power of x. Why divide? Well, you know, a to the power of b divided by a to the power of n is equal to a to the power of b minus n. So whatever is in denominator, that exponent basically gets deducted from the one that is on the numerator, right? So in this case, as you know, 5 to the power of x plus 1 and 5 to the power of x minus 1 in first and second term, both exponent is positive x, right? So if I divide by 5 to the power of x, that means when I bring it up in the numerator, basically it gets a negative sign. That means what? That means it gets cancels out. That's the reason why we picked 5 to the power of x as in division form. Now you will have one unknown that will be on the right side, which is 15 divided by 5 to the power of x, right? But that is the only unknown that we will have eventually once we transform this equation after dividing by 5 to the power of x. So let's go quickly and start dividing. So as you can see, we already divided 5 to the power of x in the second term as well as on the right side of the term, right? Now let's bring it back up. As we know, a to the power of b divided by a to the power of n can be rewritten as a to the power of b minus n, right? So in this case, 5 to the power of x can be taken to the numerator with a negative sign. So then it will turn into 5 to the power of x plus 1 minus x minus 10 times 5 to the power of x minus 1 minus x is equal to 15. Now I can actually rewrite as 5 to the power of minus x, but in this case I'm going to keep it on the right side because the entire reason we are trying to do this is because we want to cancel out everything on the left side of the equation. So as you can see, plus x and negative x in the first term cancels out. Same thing on the second term, plus x and the minus x cancels out. So what it will turn into 5 to the power of 1, which is 5, minus 10 times 5 to the power of minus 1. So anything that's power of minus 1, you can rewrite as 1 divided by power, the same number to the power of positive exponent. So 5 to the power of minus 1 can be rewritten as 1 divided by 5 to the power of positive 1. So that's basically means 1 divided by 5. So 10 divided by 5, because that 10 was in a multiple earlier on the second term anyway, we just brought it down. So in that is equal to 15 divided by 5 raised to x. Now as you can see, 5 and 10, again the relation is 5 to the 10. So you can cross 5 and 10 out and put 2. And on the right side of the equation, we are not simplifying anything, we're just carrying 15 divided by 5 raised to x is equal to 3. So we're going to do 5 minus 2 is equal to 3 is equal to 15 divided by 5 raised to x, right? So you have 15 divided by 5 raised to x. We'll bring the 5 raised to x back on the left side of the equation. So anytime when any number that is in division crosses the equal sign, it basically gets multiplied. And if that number is in a multiplication and crosses the equal sign, basically gets divided by that same number. So in this case, the 5 to the power of x was in denominator, which is divisible by 15. You basically transfer it over and put in the multiplication because it crossed the equal sign, right? So 3 times 5 to the power of x is equal to 15. Now we take 3, which is in multiplication, and cross over on the equal sign. Because it was in multiplication, it basically gets divided by on the other side of the equal sign. So 15 divided by 3 is equal to 5 to the power of x. We already know 3 5s are 15, so basically you cross out 3 in the 15 and then you have turned back into 5 to the power of x is equal to 5. Hence again x is equal to 1. Beautiful, right? So two different methods. I recommend you go through both and pick what you like, what you can quickly recognize during the exam, and use it to your advantage. So both methods are equal in my opinion. As long as you're comfortable with one or the other, pick that to be your method, and that would be the way you would be able to solve the problems very quickly during your exams. Now here is another problem on the screen. So this is the same step-by-step process you can use, the one that we already showed how to go about solving the problem during this video. So why don't you apply both method or one by one method? Pause the video, look at the screen, look at the question, which is 6 to the power of x plus 1 minus 18 times 6 to the power of x minus 1 is equal to 108, right? And try to solve the problem. If you don't understand how to solve the problem, I recommend you go back to the same video, understand the process one more time, and I bet you'll be able to answer this question in very quick time. So once you get the answer, write the answer in the comment section down below. I'll review it, and then in next video we'll talk about quickly showing step-by-step process on how to solve this problem, and then we'll move on to the next problem in the next video. But till then, I hope you like this video.